Hello and welcome to Mad About Sports for an India-Pakistan preview. We're just 1.5 hours away from that accelerating Super 4 match, and it's all good news as the weather in Colombo is sunny and bright and no rain as of now. We're not gonna make any more predictions on weather, so we're just hoping, fingers crossed. We're not the weatherman, but we can give you updates for sure. I have Antariksh with me to talk about the Super 4 contest because last week when we were here, we had a lot of skepticism. There was a lot of rain, and the game was a washout. But we at least got to see India's batting. It was like a mohalla's game, where पहले बैट किया और फील्डिंग नहीं करने मेरे को बस बैट करके घर चले गए तो that's what happened. India was Pakistan first round. India are very happy. Then India went on to play Nepal. So Pakistan have a win in Super 4 after they went on to defeat Bangladesh as well. India are yet to play a Super 4 game. Antariksh, how big a game it is in terms of just the context of this tournament as well. Because if you lose today for India, all of a sudden you're on back foot against Sri Lanka and and Pakistan.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty important game. Obviously, the Super 4 game with the last team to play a Super 4 game now, and I think this has got to do more with the scheduling of the whole tournament, which has to be done in two places because of India. But now, anyways, yeah, very big game, and I mean this might be another one of those challenges, or if you could look at it in a positive light, you could see that like to be honest, India is under the pump. Like you don't really attest India with being like the team which is under the pump, but they really are. Like if we as Indians had to bet, on a match, and like not many of us would bet us excelling over that Pakistani bowling lineup. Of course, anything can happen on the day itself, but I mean they are lethal, and they're just going all guns blazing, and we don't look the most confident team in terms of batting. So I mean, it's going to be a very, very, very pivotal game because if you lose this one, then suddenly the next two games become sort of must wins, or at least you'd have that extra pressure. Of course, losing to Pakistan has its own sort of things, negative connotations as well. So yeah, big game, an exciting game. As Manish, I welcome. He says that hopefully the rain gods are kind. Please, barish kuch nahi. Prakash, welcome Prakash. He says boom boom Bumrah or Shehenshah Afridi. What about boom boom Afridi?
It's nice, right? Boom Boom Bumrah, it has become an Afridi has got the other name. But yeah, for me personally, Afridi on current form, Bumrah, I'll still give him a couple of games to settle in. But if you want to make Indian bowling potent, it's Bumrah, of course, because when you have Bumrah in your team, that's a mental boost. And I think Rizwan also in his press conference did point that out. We are taking Indian bowling too lightly. Everybody's taking Indian bowling too lightly. But when you have Bumrah, that addition of him, he's a leader in the bowling attack. He just captain Indian team, and him alongside Siraj just adds an extra bit of value into the team. But yeah, just talking about Pakistan team, I think we can have the Pakistan team on the screen right now. They have gone with one. They've gone one change from the last India Pakistan game, and they're going unchanged from the Bangladesh game. So, which certainly means there will now be Nawaz, and they want to take that spin option off and go 40 overs of genuine pace. Fahim Ashraf is still a weakling in their bowling attack, in my opinion. That's also because he's not but he's definitely a good batting option as well at number 8.
Yeah.
So last time you saw 21 overs, 133 runs for no loss. That was the spinners. Spinners, that's what they did in 21 overs. And the rest of the overs is what India scored 130 runs. They lost 10 wickets. So you saw the difference right there. 29 overs of 130 runs and 10 wickets. So Pakistan are very aware that if Ishan Krishna is going to bat in the middle, India is still more comfortable playing Nawaz and Shadab. And if they have to trouble India, it could be with another pacer as well. Antariksh, just adding to that, now Pakistan team, we all know how set a team they are. And they don't have to really tinker with it. And that's one of the reasons why they are the favorites in the Asia Cup. And they are one of the strong favorites in the World Cup as well. And that's primarily because of the three pacers they have. We spoke about it last week as well, how important it is to nullify that opening 10 overs. And India lost 3 wickets right there. Once again, going back to the very fact, first 10 overs, Shaheen, now Naseem and Haris Rauf, how important it is going to be for India once again to nullify that in order to have a good game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know what? Seeing how we played against Pakistan in the first sort of game, and also looking at how really teams conquer, it's more about the fact that people try to go after them and or try to be too defensive. Like many a times you've seen Haris Rauf have an economy of 8, but he probably picks up 5 wickets. about 6, 7 the economy, but he picks up 4 3 4 wickets. So that's the thing. It's almost it Harris. If I'm exclusively talking about Harris Roth, his pace comes at you so unex. It just sort of cripples you for room. But then the only way out you feel is trying to smash him and stuff.
Yeah.
We saw in the other game as well. It was Shreyas Iyer, if I'm not wrong, who got out to Haris Rauf, and he was trying to play a shot, and it was a good shot. He timed it sweetly, but straight to the man. Because when a ball comes at that pace, itni tezi se aati hai ball, then you don't usually have that control. Even if you time the ball, it's very less likely कि आप एकदम से place भी कर पाओगे. You need one miracle shot. It's only Kohli in those 2 balls that did it, and that's not going to happen many a times. तो उस तरीके से अगर हम देखें, it's going to be pretty difficult. Right. Sudhanshu puts out a comment. Right, we'll discuss about it. But anyway, so as we saw even with Bangladesh, like they started out
Yeah.
decently, but उसके बाद वो Naseem Shah, like they just like faltered against him. I think he got 4 wickets there. So you know what, matlab unka bowling lineup, if I could just show you guys here, I mean they are just one bunch of mean, nasty bowlers. It almost looks like a mini Pakistan revival, like of the old,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're having those obviously those fearsome pacers back.
Yeah.
And then if you remember Imran Khan, a semi all-rounder kind of. There are a couple of players of that ilk as well, and
Yeah.
that's Shadab Khan, and that's another
You
couple
know
of
why I feel there's also revival is also because Antariksh. I mean, we saw Wakar was same that era where they've been very consistent with those two
uh,
duo. But since 2003, maybe till 2020, you never had consistency in terms of paces. Ezaz Tima came, Junaid Khan came, Irfan
yeah.
came, Umar Gul came. But Umar Gul was okay, a constant. Abdul Razak was there, but they were never a constant trio or a duo which used to possibly
Yeah, yeah,
run in and break people. Shoaib Akhtar was there. He was on and off, you can say, during the 2000s. Yes, there are a lot of things off the field which went along with him. So there was no consistency like Wakar and Wasim for 15 long years. But
yeah,
finally, in the last 2 years, Touchwood, they've been doing good. And that's good for world cricket as well. All of a sudden, you're taking note of Pakistan because of Babar, obviously, because of Rizwan, but more than that, the trio, right? They have caused
yeah,
havoc to every batting order they've faced, not just
yeah,
in Pakistan, but around the world, wherever they played. Let it be the Big Bash, let it be just the 100 or CPL. Wherever they played, they've caused havoc as ballers separately
yeah,
as well. So
absolutely.
that's one of the reasons why people are like, okay, wait a minute, let's just take a look at what Shaheen, Naseem, and Harris can do. And now people are paying money to watch them ball, and that's good for Pakistan cricket. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, now when you talk about Indian bowling attack, we don't have a trio, and we often talk about India's most successful time in Test cricket came when we had a trio of bowling attack. You can't say Siraj and Bumrah can be an amazing duo. You need a trio to do it, and I don't think Shardul Thakur gives me that confidence as much as Shami will give to make that bowling attack potent. Now, if you look at all best bowling attacks, right? Cummins, Hazelwood, Stark, Shaheen Harris, Shaheen Harris, Rauf, and Naseem, or let it be with South Africa, Rabada, Ngidi, Nokia. It's always a trio of pack which really causes havoc. And that's why we talk about more potency because you have 30 overs. 20 overs you can play out 10 first overs and last 10 overs. That the middle overs you can really control. But you have 30 good overs of pace, you can always create havoc. And against a team like Pakistan, I still believe if Shardul is giving you 1 run, 2 runs, you can still go with Shami because he can give you more runs, in my opinion.
Fair enough. I mean, that's a great point that you put out. You're talking about trios here, and of course, I mean, we sort of misguidedly started attesting. How the trend has changed from these tall, fast bowlers, mean fast bowlers, to good batsmen that was once called West Indies, to now these T20 feel good, smash around the park kind of flares. So that वो identity shift जो है West Indies का, we saw similar kind in Pakistan as well from Waqar and this. Like they probably had one spinner we had heard of, Sakleen Mushtaq. Of course, no disrespect to all the other legend fast spinners, but of course, the mainstays of this world. Sakleen Mushtaq was up there. But then it sort of transformed, if I remember correctly, the very early 2000s. It was Danish Kaneria who was wrecking havoc for them
Danish, yeah.
in the Test cricket.
Ajmal was good at good.
And
Was
then
big,
then
yeah.
then came the transition of early 2010s and late 2000s when Saeed Ajmal came in, and then there was this Yasir Shah. So unka bhi ek identity shift ho gaya from fast bowlers from Waqar, Shoaib, Akram to then all of these spinners, and the sultans of spin from Sultan of Pace or Rawalpindi Express. But वो अब एक तरीके से revive हो रहा है, and which is nice. And as you said, you could put out many formats. You could bring out the T10, the 100, the T20. But if you have to, like, it's not for a couple of years. I remember like around 100 bowlers who can change their pace and then bowl a slower ball here and there. South Africa had many, and Australia had many. But when it comes to stability, when it comes to them sticking out for like a decade together, it's always pace that gets you. Like Ngidi, Rabada, not yet. Now they are settled in. They had the Wayne Parnells, the Rusty Therons, and everyone in this world. But they're there for a brief period. But they're not going to hold out. As you said about Umar Gul, good bowler, really one of the best bowlers Pakistan. But then he couldn't really make it out because 125, 130 कितनी तेज डाल लेगा वो. So when you're really talking about longevity, and pace is something that is irreplaceable. It might not get you. कि एक you look at it isolated way में कि इस match में देखो 80 रन खा गया हारिस रॉफ. But if you look at it as a trend, what Haris Rock basically enables is, like, he enables, if not himself, then sometimes other ballers. Because
You
either
can put that stat up on the screen as well as to how that stat is. He's leading wicket taker in the Asia Cup at this point.
yeah.
9 wickets, no
I'll just
joke.
show it out there. Yeah. So because the thing with, I really like the Haris Rauf role in Pakistani team, because what happens is either people go after Haris Rauf, they see it as a risk, a fight or fly kind of a thing. They go
Yeah.
after him. That actually leads to him taking wickets. Or if they don't go after him, they play the test match line there. Then they have to go after the other two pace bowlers. So that again creates pressure in itself. So I mean that's what I believe. I mean it's a perfect balance. And if you talk about India, as you said, I believe what India can really do here is, the X factor which we have, which not many teams have, is Kuldeep Yadav, and that's what I was saying. You need to have something different. If you don't have it, like if you don't have the pace department which is up to the best, I would still consider Siraj and Bumrah ekdam badhiya. But Bumrah is
Yeah.
coming off an injury. Siraj obviously is developing into a good fast bowler consistently. But
Mhm.
abhi हमारे पास है Kuldeep Yadav. What we can do is, of course, he's not a pacer, but he can be added to those 20 overs and make them 30 uncertain overs, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
rest 20 would be 20 nikalne hain, but these 30 would be key overs for us. So that's what I
Right.
believe capitalize, and Kuldeep Yadav becomes so very important.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, we were just talking about the fact in which Kuldeep Yadav is going to play today as well. I mean, he's got a good matchup against Babar, like last week we said as well. 2 wickets he has taken against Babar, 2 wickets against Fakhar Zaman. I personally think when we talk about Pakistan spinners, I still think they are the weak link for this team.
Yeah,
Even if Shadab has done well, he's not the best. I mean, he's become extremely defensive in the last 1.5, 2 years. That has to do a lot with him playing a lot of T20s as well. You saw Chehel having that downfall, him becoming defensive in international cricket. I mean, we've seen a lot of spinners do that. I think with Kuldeep Yadav, one thing we've always appreciated is his jigra, as we say it.
yeah,
To toss the ball up, not to get hit. Even if you are getting hit, toss the ball up even more. That
yeah,
drift, that flight, very old school like, but that's one of the most effective part of Kuldeep Yadav. Beat you in the air and not off the wicket or not with pace. A very
absolutely,
classical thing to do. People will say it's no more prevalent in modern day cricket, but Kuldeep Yadav just shows how it can be so much more effective to beat the batter in the air with flight and guile. And that's one of the reasons why his X factor still remains so persist. I mean, you can say you can read him out of the hand. He's still going to ball the googly. Video analyst is there, OBA, ABA, but still, you still have to play him. And that is what a
absolutely.
classical old school spinner does. I mean, sometimes we don't give Kuldeep Yadav enough credit. We talk about all these
Yeah,
Bumrahs, Virats, and Rohits and Shubmans, but we don't talk about Kuldeep enough in India's success since 2016, 18, 17 at least. He's
I
picked up
think
a lot
it's
of
it's
wickets.
it's it's got to do more with the fact कि हमने उसको, I mean, we have played him काफी, but again, like, we've often just dropped him and then he's back and then dropped him and he's back. But whenever he is there, because again, he's not one of those vibrant characters,
Yeah,
उछलेगा कूदेगा, social media ads here and there and stuff. He goes on with the job pretty quietly. वो निकल जाता है. He's the first one in the chopping block.
yeah, yeah.
So he just gets on
He's
with it.
become a Indian football streamer as well to an extent. You will see him on
Yeah,
football streams
exactly.
a lot more than
Exactly.
what you see on cricket streams. So, yeah, that is Kuldeep Yadav for you. An ardent football fan, a little bit of part-time cricketer. So that's what he is. Sorry, no disrespect, but yeah, but that is Kuldeep Yadav. Is such a fine guy. But
Yeah.
talking about which, let's move into what Indian playing 11 will look like. I mean, the weather looks good as of now. Just to get an update, it's very sunny. It's very humid, 98% humidity. So if you're bowling first, you're going to drain out quite a bit. So that's one thing. It's Colombo. It's near the seaside. It's unlike Palikri, which is in the hills. But yeah, talking about Indian playing 11, do you expect any changes? Ishan Kishan played a beautiful knock. 80 odd, possibly his best knock he's played in international cricket or any form of
Absolutely.
cricket against a quality fast bowling attack or quality bowling attack under pressure, 66 for 4, reviving India. On the other end, Shreyas Iyer just got one innings to bat. Do you have KL Rahul walking into this team at this point as he's fit?
I don't want to do that. I mean, you could, and there wouldn't be much that I would able to debate that. But Shreyas Iyer aa gaya hai. Don't do it, yaar. What's the way back then? If Rahul doesn't score now, फिर क्या करोगे? You stick out with Rahul, then where does Shreyas Iyer go from there? You give him
No,
another
if
match.
Rahul walks in, he walks in instead of Ishan Kishan, I believe.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so that happens. I don't that's the debate we were having. Not a debate, but that's a discussion we were having. Ki with that innings, what could actually mean is ki wohi khelega and Rahul could come in place of Shreyas Iyer. You know why not? Like can't Rahul play four? Like Rahul
He
can play
can.
four, right? So exactly.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
Rahul
you
comes
can
in.
then shuffle around with Rahul and Shreyas for the next 6 games. Three for
I mean,
Shreyas,
that's
three
what
for
I'm
Rahul.
saying. That's what I'm saying. If you now bring in Rahul in place of Shreyas Iyer, because I think Ishan Kishan is untouchable right now. If you do that, then where does it sort of put Shreyas Iyer? Because वो दोनों अभी sort of एक ही category के हैं, no? Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul, they're both who are out. They've both been selected on repetition, and now Shreyas Iyer is the fitter of the two. And now
Yeah.
you've gone on by chance ही कह लो कि तुम्हें उसको chance देना पड़ा before Rahul because Rahul was injured. Now don't do it. Now don't cut him up because if you do, Rahul नहीं खेला इस match में suppose. Then what do you do? You bring back Shreyas, you can't. And if you still don't bring back Shreyas, फिर कब आएगा वो? So you put yourself in a trap. You maybe you know what? You maybe give him two more games. Even if he doesn't perform, you give him two more games, and then you'll still potentially have two more games in the Asia Cup,
Yeah.
the third Super Four, and potentially the final.
Hmm.
Then if Shreyas Iyer doesn't perform, then you go with Rahul. So
Yeah.
that's how you do it. Like let him
You can
build
have
confidence.
Shreyas Iyer stat on the screen as well. Meanwhile, when we talk about it,
Yeah.
like how Shreyas Iyer in the recent past hasn't been at his absolute best. Maybe you can talk about last 5 ODIs. He's been little jittery in terms of how he's gone about it. But we talk about his short ball struggle. He's being late, but last match, one thing I'll say, he's got this weakness about him. Everybody in the world knows he struggles on a short ball, but the swagger. I mean, I shouldn't be using this word, but the swagger in which he walks into the crease, knowing his limitation and taking on ballers despite of his weakness, that mindset is absolutely alpha mentality for me. That's something which you don't buy in the market, which I don't see with KL Rahul. KL Rahul, you
Mhm.
see shoulders dropping. I'm so sorry to disrespect him by saying this, but then you see his shoulders dropping in big situation. That's something which you'll never see Shreyas Iyer do it. Shreyas Iyer takes on challenge, something like which Virat Kohli has. I wouldn't compare him with Virat Kohli directly, but in terms of mindset, knowing his knowing his capabilities, knowing his limitations, he still goes on to play 14 runs from 9 balls, the way in which he scored those boundaries. Even that wicket he gave away, he timed the ball well. He was not late on the ball. That was a good pull shot, but there was a fielder place there. I can't blame
Exactly.
him for that. He took on the challenge. You never know if Shreyas Iyer would have batted for another 50 balls, the score would have been totally different as well. So that's what we're talking about. Shreyas Iyer has got something about him. And for me, that very reason is why I will have Shreyas Iyer in my team.
Fair enough. And that's what I said. Ki I'd also like for him to continue. But you talk about the X factor. मेरी वही दिक्कत है. When you're 3 wickets down, अब मैं क्या करूं तेरी timing का? You shouldn't have played that shot. That's the thing for me with the Indian team. Even I was being a bit too harsh in saying Ishan Kishan bhi, but like we were 4 down, and of course that was also needed. But that's what I'm saying. That it brings me back to that baseball conversation we were having. Of course, baseball you play your shots, but he almost and like we had our hearts in our mouth. ये क्या कर दिया? Because he just almost dollied into the fielder's arms, but the fielder was way ahead of the boundary line and it actually went. तो तुम मारो चौके मारो. That's your natural play. उठाओ मत ना 4 wicket गिर गए. You try to keep it down. You hit a pull shot and you keep your bat down. So that's what I'm saying. I absolutely agree to the fact. Even seeing him in KKR on season like he didn't care about his body shape or the ethics of cricket or anything. He just used to just get off and then one leg in the air, everything here and there, sort of Rishabh Pant ish, and he used to just smack them all around. Kagi Surabada 150 140 bouncer, he doesn't care. दो फील्डर है बाउंड्री के बाहर, I don't care, I can hit it anywhere. But that's what I'm saying. When you're 3 wickets down against Pakistan, should you do that? Because
Yeah.
that DAW, that dog in you, you would really require that when maybe you're 35 overs, 40 overs down, and then you need to just finish things up, or maybe even in the middle overs. But जब 3 wicket गिर गया है, you're in a middle muddle. Haris Rauf is running in. Shreyas Iyer, come on, थोड़ा सा ये तो
Yeah,
वो है.
yeah,
But
I would
as
say
I
that.
said,
But I
but as
still
I said,
say his
I'd
impact
still
was,
go with
it
Shreyas
really
Iyer.
did not let us down. 14 of 9, it just kept us going. For me, that's why I don't really mind players doing that. But what Shubman did was slightly upsetting. 9 runs of 31 balls is what he played, I remember. That was very upsetting for me. That really was a
Start the
negative
year.
impact
Yeah.
there. Kuch zyada hi hua tha. But now if you look
But
at the
it
last
wasn't
bit,
it wasn't like Shubman was trying to stay there. Shubman just looked offbeat, like he looked off color. We know what, Shubman is the perfect example of how you need to take risks. Like I really like him when he hits those boundaries, he hits those pull shots. He's pretty aggressive against pace too, but he does it in a way where you still feel safe. Like even Kohli does it, like how he paces his innings. But these Punts and Ayers and Kishans of this world,
but
they only know
that
one,
is the
man.
new generation. I mean, I think let's just
It
leave it to
is.
that. Sometimes, this is what we love watching as well to an extent. When
Exactly.
it gets
Fair enough.
going, it's a good day.
Yeah.
So I
As
wouldn't change
long as it's
anything
a
about them.
balance, exactly.
It's a
As
balance.
long as there's a balance. Yeah,
Yeah, because
obviously.
I wouldn't change anything about them because they are what they are because of what they're doing. So I love the fact what Ishan is doing because if Ishan wouldn't have taken those odd risk here or there, maybe we would not have reached 260 as well. So the pressure was transferred onto Pakistan because of those odd risk shots which we took, and it really paid off. But on the other end, you saw Hardik being much more mellow. You never knew he got to 50 as well. Was so mellow. He was picking up the singles and doubles. All of a sudden, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute, he's got a 50. So that's how Hardik went about it. That's Hardik
Yeah.
2.0 as well. But on the other side of things, if you look at it, I think today's game is going to be so important for Shubman Gill as well. Yesterday, I heard him in press conference, and one thing which I could pick out of him is he's got a mature head on his shoulder. Now,
Huh.
when he spoke about we don't play Pakistan very often, but my failures don't really bother me much as well. I do analyze it, but doesn't bother me. Let it get me affected because I've been doing good things. And sometimes, as youngsters, when you face your first major setback in international cricket, it really bogs you down. You had seen that with Virat Kohli as well. He had a lot of success, then you saw that failure in England. So with Shubman, there are a string of low scores which are taking place, but it doesn't really let it get affected to him because he knows he's doing the right thing. He scored all those runs by doing the right thing. So obviously in international cricket, you will have the low scores. And I'm glad that he scored a 50 against, even though it's against Nepal, but it'll keep him in rhythm. It'll keep him going as long as possible. What do you reckon about that knock which he played against Nepal and carrying it on to this game?
Very confidence booster tha wo. It doesn't make any sort of it doesn't make your life easier or anything, but it just gives you that winning by 10 wickets is always sweet. And you did that. You were chasing more than run a ball ka target, and you did it quite easily. And of course, Nepal tha, and I'm not giving you garlands of flowers here and there, yes, but theek hai. You did your job. You can only do the thing that is in front of you. So tumne kiya, and you played some decent shots, sweet timing. The runs were flowing in a way you really want, and yeah, matlab काफी समय से the whole this opening partnership wasn't just sticking up, and finally आ गया समय and they did that, so that's really nice. But one player, as Manish really points it out here, is like King Kohli, man. I mean, and of course them three as a bunch, they've got to do it. But Abel, we've seen many a times, like failures get hidden, failures they go under the sand if the whole department or the whole team does well. No one's going to point out Shubman Gill ke 8 run if we end up scoring 350 or 300, 320, or if we win a game by 50 run. No one's going to ki, "Arey yaar, ye to 8 pe out ho gaya." Everyone's going to do that. Everyone's going to dissect so deep into you if you get all out at 220 or you fail to score 250 or a par score. So usi mein, like it's going to be a pivotal role. And again, I somehow agree with this, that Pakistan bat very deep while India don't. Well, my thing with that is ki at least we have with Shardul Thakur, there is that sense of
I think
uh, you
Bumrah
know
is doing a good job now. He was the third
exactly.
highest
I
in
was gonna
some
come to him
taken
as
for
well.
granted.
Bumrah and you know what, this guy Shardul Thakur and these guys can bat. I don't know, Kuldeep Yadav. I saw a couple of videos of him batting in the nets. Like, क्या shots मार रहा था वो. Like he was looking one,
Uh,
but like he's the
I
new age
still think
Bhuvneshwar Kumar. He's
Kuldeep
the
Yadav
new
is
age
not there
Bhuvneshwar Kumar,
thereabouts.
man. He's the new age Bhuvneshwar Kumar for me in batting. Matlab, if we need 40 runs in 2 overs, he'd still go and defend the ball. Like he doesn't care. Like it's like they don't even want to hit the ball. They're being taught something completely different, and I don't know, man. He just comes
I
in
mean,
and it's like
power
three
hai. You
overs.
know, that generation, the bat swing, something which you talk so highly about modern day tailenders or low order batters,
Yeah,
like a Romario Shepherd for that matter, or for the like,
yeah.
Shardul Thakur. These guys can swing. You know, Shaheen Afridi can swing the bat and it goes a long way. But Bhuvneshwar Kumar, however hard he hits, it doesn't cross the 30-yard circle. So I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
I feel the same with Kuldeep Yadav as well, and that's what. But
exactly.
see, fair enough. Like if we touch wood are in a situation where 5-6 down, he's someone who you can maybe rely.
He can hang
ठीक
it
है,
on. He can
दस
hang
बारह
it on.
over खेलेगा if there's a batsman around, on the other side of the crease. So different roles. But yeah, I mean, Shardul Thakur के आने से and Bumrah's sudden rise in
Mhm.
I mean, he might sneak into the top 100 batsmen ICC rankings. The way he's
Let's just
playing.
not go that far away. But I still think
Yeah,
we are being too kind on Bumrah. But yeah, he is someone who learns a lot. We have seen him learn
yeah.
on the art. Like he was a bad batter when he came to bat, but you saw
Okay.
that improvement in England in 2021. Then he improved in 2022 by scoring the 35 run over against Stuart Broad. I remember he scored a first class 50 in Australia in that tour where we went there. So his improvement has been exponential for a bowler who did not know how to bat to what he is right now. And I still think he's got a long way to improve, and I still think he will improve. His 16 runs, the shots he came, the way in which he got out the last ball as well, that was a good shot. In India,
Yeah,
that was a six.
exactly.
Any ground in India, that was a six. In Chinnaswamy, that was out of the ground. So that's what I'm talking about. In Sri Lanka, the
Yeah.
grounds are bigger as well. So let's just keep that in mind. I think Bumrah has got a long way. I think he'll contribute well. In many other teams, maybe in IPL teams, he can bat number 9, number 8 for any of the teams. So that's something which he can bring about as well. But talking about which, I personally think in today's match, I would have Akshar Patel over Shardul Thakur. Yesterday, I saw the match in
Ooh.
Premadasa. The ball was holding on a lot. There was enough amount of turn. I know there are two likewise ballers at left arm, but I think that height, that variation with Akshar brings in, and that extra bit of batting option, you get a number 8 more than Shardul. That little bit of dynamism, I'd go with Akshar Patel. I'd be very keen to go with Akshar Patel for today in Premadasa, considering the conditions.
Good shout. I mean, good shout. First of all, addressing Sudhanshu's point here that Shami and Siraj should click with Bumrah. I mean, it'll be very important. But Sudhanshu, maybe you could get the order in any way. We don't know who's the alpha in our bowling lineup. To be honest, should Shami and Siraj click with Bumrah, or should Bumrah click with Siraj? I hope they all click together. Is all we care
I think they
about.
have clicked together as a test bowling unit. If you remember, in
Exactly.
England, we had successful series with these three. They've clicked together as a bowling unit, but it's that injury layoff and that chemistry which is slightly
Yeah,
off. And I think them
exactly.
them three playing together, I think whenever they play together, we won matches. Let it be overseas conditions anywhere in the world, we've really dominated. I'll still go back to the Lord's Test match in 2021, the
Ah.
60 overs of hell. It's still
Yeah.
resonating in my ears. These three were the boys. These three were absolutely on top of their game. I
Yeah.
mean, this is the best bowling trio we have in our country, and there's no two ways about it. So I think they have already.
Absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely, but as you talked about Akshar Patel, I mean a very good shout, to be honest. You're absolutely spot on about the ball holding and the ball gripping out there, and yeah, I mean it does put out a few question marks for the players, and that's where then it's all about relativity when you're trying to strike the right balance. Then Hardik Pandya would have to come in and take that responsibility then, because you have two new ball bowlers, and when one of them goes off or a couple of them go off, then you need to have someone like Pandya who need to step up, because all three of our spinners aren't Ashwin wale nahi hai that they'd really be comfortable with the new ball. Like Kuldeep Yadav, you don't want to hand him the new ball.
I
Same
think
with
Akshar
Jadeja.
can do a decent job with new ball.
Yeah,
He's done it.
again, yeah, as I was saying, Aksar still has kind of done it in T20s, more of it as well. So maybe him, but वही है कि two fast bowlers रहेंगे हमारे, then one has to go, and then Hardik Pandya would come in, then maybe the other one jumps out, and then the first one comes in. But somehow or the other, before 15-16 overs, हमें एक spinner को लेके आना होगा. But to elongate that period, we need Pandya to take up that responsibility. So वहां पर रहेगा कि if we're able to risk that, because as we've seen in Sri Lanka till now, like, and it's obviously been dominated by Pakistani seamers, you have to have this first 10-15 overs of good seam. Like if you do that, you pick some wickets, you put on the pressure. So wo
Yeah.
chahiye hoga. So, and obviously Shardul Thakur, whether he classifies it good seam or not, that's up to you. But he still gives you an option of seam.
For me, I still think if you really want to go all out attack Pakistan with seam, then play your three best fast bowlers, which is Shami, Siraj, and Bumrah. There's no two ways about it. I mean, I think we discussed it last week as well how 20 runs can be saved better. I mean, what would you do with the 20 runs, right? You want to score those 20 runs with Shardul Thakur. I think you can save it if you have a potent bowling attack. You can save those 20 runs and your top seven can do it. And there's this normal theory that if your top seven can't do it, what will your number eight do? And you saw that last week as well. If Shardul, I don't know. He gives me the confidence to he'll go and score me 15 to 20 runs every time, like maybe a Janssen would. A Marco Janssen at number 8 for South Africa gives me a lot more kind of a shot he can do with the bat. Or maybe for
Yeah,
that matter, Shaheen to an extent. Or if I have to talk about Sri Lankan team, I can't really. Shanaka for that matter gives me that kind of ability that he can go and do a job. But he's more of a batter
yeah,
than a bowler. But with Shardul, I don't get that. So whatever you're trying to get off him, I think if cumulatively numbers 8, 9, 10, 11 can score 30 runs for me, which Bumrah can score 15, 10 from Shami, 5 from 5 odd, 35 odd from there. That's what I would want. I mean, if a top 7 can score me 250, 280, and if they can give me the last 10 can give me 40 on a good day, including maybe just count the extras as well, that's enough for me. Now, I don't, then your bowling attack is good enough to defend that for me. Now, I don't think Shardul is going to come in and run in and pick the wickets for me, single handedly win a match. But if Shami and Siraj and Bumrah are there, there is this thought in the opposition as well. Well, we have to play the best of seam bowlers in the world. Shami on a seaming track is the hardest bowler to play. We've all seen that in the IPL in the best of overseas conditions. So, what do you can maybe get with Shardul 20 runs of the bat? Maybe you can deduct it with a good bowling performance from your best bowlers. Or if you want to go
yeah.
in with a
But
spinner on a turning track, it's Akshar always for me.
yeah, absolutely, very good point there, and that's the whole wo. It's like झलकता है वो under confidence in India's team selection. Like we're afraid to go out there, and then put out. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with our balance. 4 wicket baad Hardik Pandya. I don't know why. I don't know.
I mean,
Like
I don't
we
mind
just
Hardik at 6 or Jadeja at 7. For me,
no.
the
I mean,
biggest issue
it's too
is
thin, man.
why
You
are
you
we
start
running behind
having
the trend? I know England
you
can battle number 10, South Africa can battle number 10, or for the matter, Pakistan can battle number 10. But come on, bro. You have to have your own identity at the end of the day. We talk about philosophy in football. I'm sorry to derive the football philosophy here, but how often have we seen this particular conversation where we're talking about you need to have an identity for your own team? You can't be a Pep Guardiola by just saying that I have this many bunch of players, let's make them play like a Manchester City. It doesn't happen on a day. You have what you have and play with that. Now, I think India's best team is when you have Shami, Siraj, and Bumrah playing in the same team. And there's no two ways about it. And you're going to be playing in stuff. If on a day you want to go with spinners, you can play Akshar Patel. For me, I know Shardul will pick you up wickets, rubbish wickets, good wickets, even if he picks up a 5 wicket haul. I still think Shami is a match winner single handedly. Siraj is a match winner single handedly. And Bumrah is a match winner single handedly. And if when these three can play together, I've seen success in test format. I don't think it'll take a long time to translate that into limited overs format as well.
fair enough, and that's the whole thing. If we that's the whole question. It's now agar aap reverse engineering karne lago now, and you look at it, you would have really done that agar aapka batting lineup bahut settled hota.
Yeah.
You were like, all right, I've covered the main subjects. It's now time to study physical education for my exams. हमारे main subjects ही covered नहीं है, and then we're like, all right. You make an absolute wonderful point, and this is something even Kohli thought, at least in the test sphere. I'd go with 5 bowlers. I don't care about anything else. We might get out at 200, but we'll bowl them out at 180. Like he's been quoted many a time saying, I want to go with 5 fast bowlers, and he did that from match 1 to match X when he retired as captain. So I mean that's absolutely fair. But usme wahi tha ki, in test we've seen like how successful we've been. Exclude the 2 finals obviously, but we had that settled blah 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 chal raha. But here, that's the thing. You would do that agar aapke Rohit, Kohli, Shubman, and everyone knows what roles they have. Two, everyone's performing. Now here we have, getting 120 for 4, 80 for 4, 120 for 5 every second game. And, you need the Pandyas and the Jadejas to bail you out every time. Then it sort of starts looking slim here, because if you had number 8 and then if there's Shami swinging
I was
like
just
he
talking
doesn't.
about test format there, just made me wonder. There were days when we played 4 proper fast balls and Ishan, Shami, Bumrah, and Siraj,
Exactly.
and we still went on to win the game. So
Exactly.
India, we're ready to
Maybe
take those
that's
risks.
what one that was test cricket, and two more. It's got to do more about the fact that कि हमें पता था हमें कैसे खेलना है. We had an
Yeah,
identity, as you really said, and
yeah.
we were comfortable with it. We're not comfortable with playing cricket at this moment. That's the thing.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's a bit too harsh, but still, I would say we
no,
are still figuring
because
ourselves out. There's a relationship
because
में बोलते हैं, we're figuring ourselves out. Similar
yeah,
thing, very very
that's
similar.
what figuring ourselves out a couple of months, 1 month before the World Cup. That's the whole that's the whole needle.
Yeah, I mean,
But वही
bro, I
point है
think we
कि
are 29 days from World Cup and we're still figuring it out. It's like you're 29 days out from wedding and you still do not know as a couple you're getting together or not.
yeah, exactly. मतलब great couple analogies there. Two in a row. Couple of them about the couple, but yes, you're absolutely right. And to be honest, I don't know. Just पता नहीं है श्रेयस अय्यर और राहुल से बॉलिंग करवाने लगो. I don't care, man. Because
But
I just
there's a
don't.
good news that yesterday in the net, Surya was balling a lot.
Yes, they have to, bro. Rohit Sharma, Kohli करते थे bowling, करवाओ यार उनसे. Because six पे, you have Pandya, seven पे you have Jadeja. No, I mean, I'm so sorry. मतलब, again, we're going into the names. उनकी average देखो. None of the players after our 4 wickets fall has an average of more than 35. This is Team India and this is the World Cup. 35 की एवरेज लेके जा रहे हो तुम. हमारा धोनी आता था 6 पे 53-54 का एवरेज. हमारा सुरेश रैना आता था 40-42 का एवरेज विद स्ट्राइक रेट ऑफ 110-105. That was our team. युवराज सिंह तो वहां तो जा ही नहीं रहा. And now we have Pandya. All right, Pandya name है. Yeah, he can. मेरे को नहीं चाहिए. I don't want 55 of 18 balls. I don't want that here. I want maybe 100 every 10 games in 95 balls. Can you do that? Because you have an average of 35. Jadeja has an average of 32. He does this every time he scores a 15-20 games. I don't want that at the World Cup. That's my whole problem with this. I don't know if
Yeah.
you can get 10 overs combined out of 20 overs combined out of Pandya, the Shardul Thakur role, and someone
You
from
know
the
what,
above.
bro? I personally think we are not going to get a Yuvraj Singh in this team. I think India had the luxury of playing 7 batters, including MS Dhoni at number 6, number 7, and Raina at number 7 or Yusuf Pathan at number 7 because India had options. Let it be Yusuf
Why?
Pathan, let it be Yuvraj Singh, Suresh Raina.
You
They could
just
all
reminded me.
bowl.
Sorry to cut you off there. Yuvraj Singh bhi bowling karta tha. Suresh Raina used to bowl as well. Yeah, I mean, good old days, man.
Sehwag used to bowl, Tendulkar used to bowl. So
Yeah,
it was not, it was a ball, it was a team which everybody could chip in with the ball at some stage, right? Maybe except
exactly.
a
Yeah.
Gambhir, everybody, Gambhir and a Dhoni, everybody could bowl. Even Dhoni wanted, he could have bowled as well. So the thing is, everybody could ball in that team, which is so in contrast with this current team. That's where I still think if you had Tilak Verma as your number 4, it was not a bad option. And that's something which I'll not debate now. We are too late for all that. But yeah, at this point with the current team, we are ready to support them and we are here to support them. And what I see is India needs more clarity. I saw what Hardik does in important situations is just majestic. I mean, however, we disregard him, but in big situations, I mean, last week's the
Oh
knock
yes, of
or
course.
big situation against Pakistan is always stepped up, and I think he's a clutch player for me. And for me, Jadeja is someone who kind of lets me down in some of the bigger moments. I know he's done that in IPL, he's done with Team India as well. I still think Jadeja number 7 is too late for him. You can use Jadeja better if you want to float him up the order once in a while. It's not a bad thing to do at all. I think Jadeja, when you float him up the order, he bats better. And I've often seen it kind of takes a responsibility as a batter when he bats at number 6, number 5, in Test cricket as well. You see Jadeja bat at number 8 in Test cricket and number 5 in Test cricket. He bats like a number 5 in Test cricket. When you put him at number 8, he bats like a number 8. I think the number
Hmm.
really messes up with his brain. Sometimes when you send him at number 5, he bats like one. And you have the luxury to do it. On a day when you have a left arm spinner operating, you send Jadeja up the order to take him on. And I think Jadeja will do
Hmm.
a good job. And I think Jadeja is one batter. He's too good to be batting at number 7 for me in this team.
Fair enough, and exactly. I mean, that's what we've probably made 10 permutations and combinations in the last 39 minutes we've been talking about it. So that's what if had there been clarity, not me, not able would have gone. Nahi, nahi, ye karo, nahi, nahi, wo karo. Because there's no clarity, so there are always gaps to fill. From our opinion and stuff. But yeah, that's what we are saying now. Again, let's just pray as Kushagra here points out that India's top order is a batting top order batting is a concern. It is, and वही बात है कि if that solves, you probably start building from there. If that gets solved, and there'll be a lot of onus on the top three, a lot, and you can't repeatedly keep failing, man. You
Yeah.
just can't keep failing before the World Cup, and you have to like show. One of you guys have to step up and show. Ki, nahi, all right, it's just on the paper talk. Ki, they're obviously humans as well. We can play them, and someone scores a quick classic 50, 55, 60. That's enough for us to at least have some promise going into the World Cup or into the latter stages of Asia Cup. Because you know what? Most probably we'll probably face Pakistan again in the final if things go in a normal way. So
But I
you don't
think
want
we
to be in a
are taking
situation.
that for too granted. There are teams like Sri Lanka who are in very good form. So I think there's an upset either from India or not upset. Sri Lanka can possibly surprise India or Pakistan in the next game. And I think we are writing Sri Lanka off way too early. I think they're a good team. Very, very good team.
They are. No, no. Of course, not writing them off, but why? Chances are, if anyone had to predict, they'd say another India-Pakistan final. But of course, there'll always be. I mean, Bangladesh even. Of course, they might not be looking the best, but on their day, again,
I think
India's.
Bangladesh are still out of it now. Two games they've lost in Super 4.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
But against India,
yeah,
again, them having nothing to lose, taking
yeah,
it as a full-on practice before the World Cup,
yeah, yeah,
he can. They'd be happy to knock us off.
truly. Truly, truly. Yeah, but let's possibly end on a note. I mean, as of now, there's no rain in Colombo, so that's good
That's good.
news for cricket fans. It's sunny, partially sunny, so which is good, and it doesn't look like there are threatening rainy clouds. It's all white clouds out there, so which is good. No dark clouds, and it's hot and humid. So let's just hope for the next 8 9 hours it stays the same way, so that tomorrow when we come, we have a game in our hands, unlike last week, and we get to see a full 100 overs played out today because there was a lot of debate on the reserve day for India, Pakistan, and why not for other games. But if you have 100 overs today, then nobody's going to talk about it. Let's just finish it off. And India will be playing day after tomorrow once again. Again, I think India plays Sri Lanka next day after tomorrow. Another game, India will be up and running. So that's about it from us. We have discussed it. Our point of thought is we have to see Indian team play more often. And at this point, we're still jittery about who and what's going to happen. Maybe in few days' time, after this Asia Cup, we can zero in on how we're doing. If we win the Asia Cup, it becomes easier. That's a huge confidence leading into the World Cup. Then you can say you defeated a potent Pakistani team and a Sri Lankan team in their own backyard to go on to win the Asia Cup. And then you go into Australia in that very big series right before the India-Australia clash on October the 8th. So if you have a World Cup tickets, if you're lucky enough to get them, all the best for you guys. Just mentioning it, I know it's been hard, but have a good time watching Indian team play in the home shores. Indian team are coming back home. World Cup after 12 long years at home, so that's not a bad thing at all. Have a good time, all of you. See you all very soon. I hope you enjoyed our stream. If you did, don't forget to share and subscribe to our channel, and also don't forget to check out our Instagram page where we share the latest updates on cricket, football, and everything else. And also, don't forget to check out our course with Mad About Sports. If you're an aspiring cricket analyst who want to set their feet into the world of analytics, making those big shot calls, making analogies and matchups and whatnot, you can check out our courses Mad About Sports. We can give you an opportunity and forum for you to dream big. Have a good time, for all of you. See you all very soon. Bye bye.